what have we got here? Yaw Control unit.
This is the... it goes with the flux gate compass which we've always had, that runs the autopilot and gives heading to the instruments. But we've never had the Gyro Plus, which is really a yaw control.
Can you just define what you mean by yaw?
The boat going left to right, its bow going left to right, that's yaw. This basically just wires in to the computer, which is under our aft bunk, and it uses the flux gate. So the two of these work together to give much better control of the boat, because the computer can anticipate what is coming as opposed to waiting for the course to change to know what's coming.
So this is going to be really useful in large seas or choppy seas?
Large seas, yeah, and it'll also help it go to windward, where a lot of the yaw, there's two times you get a lot of yaw. One is downwind, with seas underneath the transom, throws the boat round, and the auto helm has to wait for the angle to change before it knows what is happening to the boat. The benefit of this is that as the stern moves and the bow moves, it's instantly telling the autopilot that the boat is going off course. So it's to help it anticipate. It's never perfect. Under autopilot, a boat always yaws around more than you would probably by hand steering, but who wants to stand for hours hand steering if you can get the instruments to do it? Okay, so that's that. The problem I've got today is this has to lie vertically in the boat and longitudinally in the boat. I've got very few places that this can go, right at this moment I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. And this is also for the auto helm. This gives me remote control. This little box here I can keep in my pocket, around my neck, whatever, and it's copying all the controls that are on the autopilot in the binnacle.
So the advantage when we're sailing in Scotland is that you can keep under the spray hood and keep dry then while steering the boat.
Yes. Yes. We've not had anything like this. The Raymarine ones all these years ago to do this were wired, and that really was never suitable. The new Raymarine ones that will work with our autopilot, no problem there, are just incredibly expensive. I mean, this isn't cheap, but the Raymarine wireless ones are very expensive. A little bit of research, Googling.
And they've got good star.
And they've got a good, they've got a good reputation.
Okay, right.
They know what they're doing, and this unit is specifically for Raymarine.
Right.
So these two bits will add to
the jobs for today.
Well, the jobs for today, but also long term, hopefully. Just a bit more convenience in this case, and a better job at holding the boat in this case.
So this is the aft cabin. It's quite cramped once we've got that. I haven't managed to take the mattress out because there's very little space to put it at the moment, so it's just folded back there. And we've got this this locker down here where we keep things that don't get used very often. Here, this is our second house battery. The first house battery and the engine battery are in the engine compartment. This bulkhead down here, going along there, is not quite in the centre of the boat, but we've just got the propeller shaft and another locker like this on the other side, so it's near enough. And of course, as Andrew mentioned, it's vertical, but it is very busy. There's a lot of things here, so we're going to have to be very careful just behind the battery there, because we've got the rest of the Raymarine computer there, so we could put that very close to the computer. So So there's the unit now screwed right beside the computer.
Right, well, if you bring the camera around here, it will help because you can see what's here. That's us on 2, 3, 4. We won't really know whether the gyro is adding anything except that I now have got 9 rudder gains when I used to have 3, and that's because the yaw angle gyro makes that work. So that's all okay. Everything else, and the heading's fine. When I go to standby, I get the same standby heading, so it's all fine. And what else has changed? If I go to auto, plus 10, if I press the plus 10 I'll get 243. Was if I go to 253, go to 263. Yeah, we put in this handling kit, yaw control, from Raymarine onto our autopilot computer, which it didn't have originally, and it was a bit of a problem because in sea like we have today, it's not big seas, but there's a lot of roll. We're out in the Atlantic and we've had a gale for the last 3-4 days, so there's quite a bit of sea, a bit jobbly. And this would be historically where I would have to hand steer for hours, even under engine, because the autopilot would be not really working very well. Today, and Avril will show you the chart, our track, the route that we've got today and the track are absolutely spot on together. And if Avril pans away now and then just looks forward onto the bow, then you will see that the stern will lift up, but the helm is all ripped. But what's happening is that the helm is anticipating the rise. Oh yeah, I think that will work. Can you get far enough back to see the helm move and the stern lift?
Yeah.
That's the stern lifting now, and the helm is already moving as the boat moves instead of waiting for the course to change, which is what it used to do. Shortly we will be putting the jib on and we'll demonstrate and find out how good it is in a rolling downwind sea, which has been very poor in the past.
Now have the jib up under auto helm, and we're just watching the bow and the movement the bow is making from side to side. It seems quite steady.
Right, so we've got the jib up, the motor off. We're doing about almost 6 knots boat speed and then 13 knots of true wind. We've got the usual western coast of Scotland jobble after a gale, a swell from the southwest and wind coming from the south, giving another little wave action. But the boat is sitting absolutely correctly on track. You can see the helm anticipate the lift and the turn of the stern or the bow. This is really way better than this has always been the worst of the boat. Should be easy, but has not been that straightforward. Fine in flat water, but not in this.
all over the place. So yeah, I mean there'll be bigger tests to come, bigger seas. The main up as well, because it's just the jib. It is relatively easy, but we'll just take it in small steps. They are due for more wind all day, so we're not over rigging, not over pushing. Both jib and main are up. We're just off close hauled. 35 degrees instead of the normal 30 apparent. So, doing okay. The autopilot in fairly flat seas, given that we're heading back around our working today. Seas are okay. And the boat is doing fine. The only worry now is, do we really have enough battery power to run this for any length of time? But that's a different issue altogether. But it's working well, doing a good job.
Autopilot is just transformed. You'll have seen examples as I've talked about it. In the last few days we've had kind of difficult conditions and the boat can run an autopilot. I can help Avril. I can do stuff. I can move forward of the helm by switching it into autopilot and it will hold its course. That really hasn't always been available other than in the lightest conditions. So we've made huge improvements. But equally, I've learned that to make it all work really nicely, the boat probably needs a first reef. So, okay, don't overpress the boat. Don't expect it to do too much. And the full main looks like it's a light weather setting, and as soon as you're above 50, approaching 15, 16 knots, reefer down.